The only thing we're going to add to our plate today is talking about what we do when we translate whole entire lines themselves, okay? So when I am going to translate a line, it's a little bit different, and two kind of strange things will happen. So it says, draw a line passing through point P that is parallel to line L. Okay, so you all have rulers. Take out a ruler, and we're going to draw a line that is going to go through point P that is parallel to line L. So I'm going to line it up. Parallel, remember, means that it does or does not cross? Does not. Will it ever? No, never, ever, ever cross. Okay? And mine's a little shaky because I'm working with a marker, but there's what we got. Can you draw a second line through point P here that is parallel to the original? Can I draw another one?
No.
No, there's only one line that will work. There's only one line that's parallel. So it says, what do you notice, okay? What we notice about this is there is only one parallel, that's how we write parallel, shorthand, line through P that exists here to the original. Okay, there's not another one, because if we do any other line through that, we've got to angle it just a little bit. Even if it's only 1 degree, it'll eventually cross. So that's the first kind of easy concept. Now, this is where we're kind of going with this, is are we going to create parallel lines when we translate a line, or are we going to create the same line? So number 2 looks like a really weird kind of question, because it says, translate line L along vector AB. What do you notice about L and its image L prime? Okay, so this whole thing right here is the line. The vector is in the middle here. See that? Okay, so let's use our steps that we learned yesterday to translate. The first step is to measure that vector. So take out your centimeter side of your ruler, and yours is opposite of mine because I have the teacher ruler here. Okay, so when I line this up, how long is the vector? Anybody? 3 centimeters, yeah. So our vector is 3 centimeters, and it is 3 centimeters. What direction does it say that we are going? Right. Okay, so to translate this line, I need the essential points. Well, the essential points are on the ends. I'm going to put them here and here. Okay, a line only really has 2 points that you really need, the end points. So I'm going to start by translating this point. I'm going to call this point over here M, and this one N, let's say. So how do I translate M along the vector? How far do I have to move it? 3 centimeters. What direction? Right. So I am going to measure 3 centimeters from M to the right, and I'm going to put a new one on, a new dot. What will I name it? M prime. Yep. And then I have to do N as well. Same thing, right? We're going to move this guy 3 centimeters to the right. And what will I name that? N prime. And then I'll reconnect them, and so mine's in red so you can see it better. Oh, my N prime is a little bit off. Sorry about that. Oops. Did it make a different line? Ooh, mine looks a little rough. Sorry about that. Hopefully yours looks better. Drawing with these markers is a little rough. Okay, what do you notice about our new line? Is it a different line than our original?
Yes. No.
It lies on the same one, doesn't it? It kind of overlaps it, okay? So if there's arrows on the end, that means it goes on forever, right? Okay, so what do you notice about the line L and its new line L prime? They are the same line. Okay, if our vector is running parallel or on our original line, it's going to create the same line, okay? Now, we're going to go one more here and do the other thing. Or do one more thing. Sorry, not the other thing. So turn the page to page 9. Okay, and I'm going to go a little bit out of order. We're going to go to 4 and then back up to 3, okay? So let's do 4. And we're going to translate this line. Translate line L along vector AB. What do you notice about L and L prime? Okay, so now we're getting into this. What do we know about translating along the vector? What's the first thing that needs to happen? Elijah?
Measure it.
Measure it. Go ahead. Let's go. Measure the vector. Okay, this one, is it 3 or not quite?
Not.
It's not quite, okay? 2 point what-ish? I would say 2.9 is what I've got measured. Okay? So let's go with 2.9.
You can do that.
Yep. In fact, the more accurate you are in measuring, the better off you're going to be in the end when we start doing bigger figures. Okay, so now, in order to move my whole line, what do I need to put on the line? Starts with put and ends with oints. Go, Amy. Points! Yay! Where should they go? In the middle? At the ends. That's right. Okay, so let's put some points. Okay, give me a letter, Knock. N. Okay, give me a letter to T. Okay, N and T. Let's move them. What direction am I going to move point N? Up. How far? 2.9 centimeters. Oh, there's a little bit of a cheat here. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I can use my ruler, but I can also kind of measure up using this vector, right? Okay. How far am I going to move point T?
2.9 centimeters.
2.9 up, right? And then I need to reconnect my dots, otherwise all I have is a set of dots, which is no fun. Oh, my little. What do you notice this time about our original line and our new line? What kind of lines did they create? What, Moo? Parallel lines, okay? So if the vector is perpendicular, which was one of our vocabulary terms, it's going to create parallel lines. What do you notice? They are parallel. Okay, a perpendicular vector will create parallel lines. A vector on the line is going to create the same line. What about a vector, going back to number 3 now, what about a vector that is parallel? So we did a vector that was on the line, right? And that made the same line. We did a vector that is perpendicular, and that made parallel lines. What about a vector that is parallel to the line itself? Okay, let's go through the steps. Step 1. Measure. Let's go. Let's measure this guy. Okay, this one's a little bit longer than our other two. 3.5, would you say? Okay, so 3.5 centimeters. And which direction are we going?
Right.
Right. So, there we go. And then what do I need on my line? Points. Okay, Grace, give me a letter.
G.
G. You guys are so creative. Grace, G. Mason, give me a letter. M. All right, here we go. So I'm going to move point G, starting point G. How far am I moving it? 3.5 centimeters to the right. Am I going to move it up at all or down at all? No, only going right. So let's go. Move it. Oop, not inches, centimeters. Okay, so here we go. 3.5 centimeters to the right. Ooh, G prime. I think some of you might be able to tell what's about to happen here. M, we're moving that. 3.5 centimeters to the right. M prime. I'm going to reconnect my dots. Ooh. What happened?
It became whatever it's called.
Is it a parallel line or same line this time? Oops. Same line, okay? So the main points of today was translating lines, okay? So this made same line again.